I'm Reverend Kathy. Welcome to Unity North Spiritual Center in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. Whether you're in person or whether you're virtual with us, we're glad you're all here today. Unity North is an inclusive community. We welcome and accept all people. So whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual path, you're welcome at Unity, and we're glad you're with us today. We're also part of a greater worldwide unity movement. We are the publishers of the Daily Word magazine, and we've been holding 132 years of prayer vigil through Silent Unity, the prayer ministry of the unity movement. So prayer is the heart and soul of unity. And we do have one of our prayer chaplains available to pray right after service today. And I'm looking to see if she is with us. There she is, Susan Marie. She's waving. And she'll be available. You can give her a call right after service. Her phone number will show up on the chat and also at announcements. And she'll be available after service for a while. So feel free to give her a call. And you don't have to have a specific need. If you just want to join in prayer for the world or for whatever the situation is, she's happy to be there for you. All right, so I want to thank Chris Taliano, our producer for today's service. And our worship assistant is Nola Bean. And our musician for the day is Rich Miller, so let's give him a hand. And before he does the opening song, let's just together speak our vision and mission statements. And let's say our vision together first. Centered in prayer, we create for all a world of love, harmony, and abundance. And our mission statement is celebrating spirit, exploring truths, awakening hearts, inspiring dreams, serving community. And then you see our values, and those are the primary core beliefs that we hold here at Unity North. And with that, Rich will lead us in an opening song.
Thank you, Kathy.
Those of you live want to stand.
I invite you to stand. Many of you know this song. I'll just remind you how it goes. The verses go like this. Today I choose abundance and universal good. Everything unfolds for me exactly as it should. And the chorus goes, God in me can do anything, myself I know not how. God in me can do anything, and I accept it now. Just like that. Here's the chorus now. God in me can do anything, myself I know not how. God in me can do anything, and I accept it now. Today I choose abundance and universal good. Everything unfolds for me exactly as it should. God in me can do anything, myself I know not how. God in me can do anything, and I accept it now. Today I choose forgiveness and let my judgment go. The God in me loves everything and everyone I know. God in me can do anything, myself I know not how. God in me can do anything, and I accept it now. Today I choose fulfillment for all the world to see. And as I heal my feelings, life is healing me. God in me can do anything, myself I know not how. God in me can do anything, and I accept it now. Last line. God in me can do anything, and I accept it now. Welcome, everyone.
Good morning, I'm Noel Levine. This is the time in the service when we greet one another. So please take a minute and wave to each other. Yeah, stand up and wave. Wave to the people out in Zoom land. Is there anybody here for the first time? Do we have a first-time visitor today? Anybody on the Zoom platform that's first time? Okay, how many people are here from out of state? Show of hands. Candy and Finn and Nancy. Good. And Gary, yeah, there's some people that don't want to show themselves, but right, Gary? we see you, Gary. Okay, well, everybody's welcome, and it's great to have the people from out of state be able to join our service. So now is the time when we take a moment for prayer request. Rather than say them aloud for all to hear, we invite you to speak a name or request silently or aloud in the privacy of your home. We give thanks in advance for these prayers, and we say thank you, Mother, Father, God. And so it is. Amen. Let us stay centered and still for the daily word. The daily word for Sunday, September 4th is ease. Beholding God in every circumstance helps me know ease. It's easy for me to find God in the glory of a sunrise and in the laughter of children, and to feel God's love as I get together with friends or family. Wherever there is wonder, joy, or fellowship, God is surely present. I remember that God is just as surely present when my responsibilities feel overwhelming, when conflict arises in a relationship, or when it feels as though there isn't enough of what I need. If I begin to feel tense, fearful, or frustrated, I remember that wisdom, love, understanding, and strength, all of the divine qualities that live within me, are ready to help me handle any challenge. Assured by my awareness of God's presence, I move with ease and grace through whatever this day brings. From Proverbs chapter 1:33, those who listen to me will be secure and will live at ease without dread or disaster. And now, Rich will play us a song to prepare us for meditation.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a place of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a place of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
So I invite you now to sit back, prepare for meditation. Take several deep breaths, feeling that wave of relaxation move all the way down your body. And say to yourself, I am completely and fully relaxed. And as we enter into meditation, let us each say silently to ourselves, it is not I, but the Christ within who does the work. The Christ calls to you to share divine light with you. Christ reaches out in a summon for the saviors of the world, all who would invoke the power of love to heal the planet, and all who share life with it. His hand is extended to you gently, inviting you to join the force of men and women who would bear witness to the truth. Are you willing to bear witness to the truth? To speak your truth so others may know about love and peace and kindness and faith? The Christ is looking for healers. Would you be one of them? You might say, but I don't know how to be a healer. And yet you heal by your presence. You heal by who you are, not by what you know. You heal by centering yourself in the divine presence and aligning yourself so that you can be a vehicle for God's love. If you would be a healer, simply acknowledge the presence of God within you, and you will find the endless blessings that bring the peace of God to the family of light of which you are born. Take a moment now in the silence and acknowledge the presence of God within you, answering the call of the Christ. You have the power of the Christ, the power of the divine within. It is the power of truth, the presence of love and light. So remember this day, since you are on this planet and part of the human race, you are called to share that love that Christ calls to you, calls to each one of us. And we are grateful for that gift. And so it is. Amen.
Have you felt the winds of change that are always blowing? Have you heard the song of soul that is always calling? Well, they come from the one who believes in you, the fountain of love that is pure and true. They come from the one who is with you always. Have you watched the patterns of life that are always changing? Have you moved to the rhythms of life that are always flowing? Well, they come from the one who believes in you, the fountain of love that is pure and true. They come from the one who is with you always, always, always there to help you, there to guide you back home, always there to be with you, so you're never alone, always. Have you seen the miracles that are always around us? Have you lived in the grace of God's love that always surrounds us? Well, they come from the one who believes in you, the fountain of love that is pure and true. They come from the one who is with you always, always, always.
Thank you, Rich. Beautiful song. So we are constantly called to greater wholeness. And sometimes that calling may be in the form of a profession. Sometimes we might know our profession at an early age. That was true for little Brad. He came into the kitchen one day and his mother said, "What's my little darling been doing all day?" And Brad said, "I've been playing mailman." And his mother said, "How could you play mailman when you don't have any letters?" And Brad said, "I had lots of letters. I found them in that big trunk in the attic, wrapped with ribbon, and I put one in every mailbox on the street." Speaking of calling, there is an inscription that was carved over the stone door of psychiatrist Carl Jung's house: "Summoned or not, the God will come." Summoned or not, the God will come. This speaks to the dialogue going on all the time between God and us. We may call God sometimes for help or comfort, but Spirit is always calling us, always present, inviting us to a life of greater wholeness. The call and one's response to it are a central metaphor for the spiritual life. A call is only a monologue, though. A return call, a response, creates a dialogue. Our unfolding requires that we be in constant dialogue with Spirit. 5 stages can be recognized in any call experience. The first is the call of Spirit, Spirit's call. The second is our objection or our resistance to the call. The third is divine reassurance. And the fourth is a sign or vision. And finally, the fifth is contemplation on the call. Or reflection, you could say reflection on the call. So first, Spirit's call. A biblical call is generally a dialogue between God or an agent of God, such as an angel, and a human. So Moses sees the burning bush and hears the voice of God calling him to deliver the Israelites. Sarah's call to be the mother of nations comes through Abraham as she overhears a stranger telling her husband that she shall bear a son in her old age. Ezekiel's long, detailed call narrative covers 3 chapters in the Bible with visions and dialogues included. The visions begin as a voice speaks from out of the throne, "Son of man, stand upon your feet, and I will speak with you." An angel appears to Mary with, "Hail, O favored one, the Lord is with you." So the directness of these calls is more likely the ancient author's way of intensifying the drama of an experience that is more common than we know. Spirit is always speaking to us in inner dialogue. So my call to ministry did not come as a loud, booming voice. "Hail, O favored one, Kathy. You will first go to Arizona, and then years in California, and finally to Minnesota to do my work in the world." No, it came as a still, small voice. As a minister walked down the aisle at the big Portland church many years ago, from the back of the aisle to the front, that's how they began their service. And as he walked by, I felt a wind, and I heard an inner voice, "Oh, I could do that." That was my call. But it came after many years of asking and seeking. One man was called to be a church usher because he was so friendly. And so he greeted an elderly woman at the door of the country church. And he said, can I show you in? And he showed her up the steps. And then he asked, where would you like to be seated? And she said, in the front row, please. And he said, oh, I wouldn't advise it. The minister could be really boring. And she responded, do you know who I am? And he said, no. And she said, I'm the minister's mother. And he said, oh, do you know who I am? She said, no. And he said, good. And he was gone. So our calls may invite us to be something more creative, less judgmental, more loving, less fearful. They may ask us to do something, to become self-employed, to go back to school, to leave or start a relationship, to change careers, to have a child, to take care of a grandchild, to take care of the environment, or take action on racial injustice. They may be calls towards something or away from something. Mary Doom of Summerfield, Oregon said, maybe it was God calling us, or calling me rather, to get out of my living room. She said, one night I got a phone call, and as I walked over to the phone call, somebody hung up when I picked it up, but it was just enough time for me to avoid the huge delivery truck that crashed into my living room and collapsed a wall right into the chair I had been sitting in. So we're called in many ways. It may be as simple as writing a letter of encouragement to those who need it, or creating a new forgiving relationship with someone who may have wronged us. It might mean breaking through our reluctance to visit a sick friend or relative, making peace with a son or daughter, or entering a program of self-improvement. For one, it might mean a formal ministry to a congregation. For another, working at a mission for the homeless. For another, taking more time to pray or play. Calls do not necessarily mean there's thunder in the sky and a great voice that booms out telling us we are anointed. Most of the calls we receive and often ignore are the proverbial still small voices that the biblical prophets heard. The daily calls to pay attention to our intuition and to be authentic. The call can come to us in a whisper, in a nudge, in a barely perceptible thought. To answer the call effectively, we must learn to hear the inner voice which guides us, discerning the direction of a call through meditation and prayer. We become grasped by the responsibility for hearing and following the call of Spirit to a greater life. To answer such a call may mean we would be required to make major life changes, perhaps including a geographical move. You know, I never dreamed of leaving California and moving to Minnesota, especially at the beginning of winter. But I absolutely knew it was a call and I needed to act on it. God's call to spiritual growth does not always imply a complete change in our lives. The Spirit moves in us, always nudging us, a still small voice calling us to simple daily activities. So the second stage of the call is that we protest. We resist. You know, this couldn't be God talking to me. You know, I just don't have time for this right now. Or I don't know how to do that. You know, you can't really mean it, God. And on and on. Mark Twain once said, take responsibility after you have tried all other possibilities. So Moses protested, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the children of Israel out of captivity in Egypt?" He even argued with God. "Well, they won't even listen to me. They won't believe me." And then Sarah laughed. "I'm past bearing children now." Gideon argued, "Pray, Lord, how can I deliver Israel? Behold, my clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my family." And Mary asked, "How shall this be, since I have no husband?" After Gabriel had announced she would soon conceive a son. And Jesus said, "Father, if thou art willing, remove this cup from me." So I fought my call to ministry for 3 years before I said yes. And I have first resisted every church I've served. And I mean resisted, moaning and groaning, kicking and screaming. Resistance is not only universal, but also instinctive and voluntary. Our brains are wired for it. It's critical to the health of the immune system and to mental health, and serves to protect us to a point. I remember being shocked when I got to ministerial school and realized that the 41 other classmates in my class had all resisted in some fashion. You know, we seek to conserve the meaning of our lives and know that the ego will fight to prevent change. So look how we continue to fight the coronavirus and the period of shutdown and later vaccines and masks. It's also a resistance to what it's here to do, not just to kill people and isolate them, but to wake us up to another way. Sometimes when we were not able to go out, especially in the beginning, and distract ourselves, we had to go within. And that may still apply, though not as intensely or as often as it did early on. But underneath resistance is the fact that we may have been and may still be protecting ourselves from imagined harm, threat of pain, an experience of feeling bad about ourselves. When events threaten to cast us in a bad light, the first impulse is to turn the light off. One way we do that, one form of resistance, is by going the way of the world rather than the way of spirit. There's a great story about that. Anthony DeMello tells about a Hindu yogi whose guru left him under a tree on a riverbank to meditate on God. I've told you this before, so you may remember it. So the yogi had two possessions. He had his begging bowl and his loincloth. And so once a day, he would go into the village and he would beg for food, and then the rest of the time he would spend contemplating God. Well, this went on for a while, but then one night he washed out his loincloth, hung it on the tree to dry, and in the morning discovered a rat had chewed it up. So then, to his deep embarrassment, he now had to go and beg for not only food, but a new loincloth. So then he proceeded to contemplate God. And then a few nights later, he washed out the new loincloth, put it on the tree to dry. Same thing happened. The rat got it in the night. So now, deeply embarrassed, he thought, this is unseemly for a yogi to have to beg for new loincloths all the time. So he got a kitten to chase the rat. But now he had to beg for milk for the kitten. And that went on for a bit, but then he was so embarrassed at having to do that he finally found a stray cow. And the cow provided milk for the summer until the summer grasses finally burned up, and there was not enough to feed the cow, so now he had to beg fodder for the cow. Well, again, it was embarrassing to beg for fodder. So he decided to plant crops. So he planted some crops, and they prospered in the sun, and they fed his creatures. But what happened was he was spending all his time on his crops, and he didn't have time for God. He didn't have time to contemplate God and meditate. So then he decided he'd hire laborers. So he hired laborers to take care of the crops, but they needed supervision. So then he decided he needed a wife. So he got a wife. But she didn't want to live by the riverbank under the tree. And so they had to build a house, and it had to be a big house because now she was pregnant. So the yogi grew fat and lazy under the tree by the river. And one day, sitting there, he saw a familiar figure coming toward him. It was his guru, who surveyed the scene with a wide-eyed look. "Student, is that you? Didn't I leave you here 5 years ago to contemplate God?" And the yogi bowed his head and gestured to his vast estate and said, "Revered teacher, I know it seems hard to understand, but this was truly the only way I could keep my loincloth." Well, creative excuses are certainly part of our resistance. Or becoming preoccupied is another way we resist our calls. Mark Gearson says, if it feels safe, it's probably not the right path. But if it scares you, it probably is. The degree of resistance can be proportionate to the amount of power waiting to be unleashed. So the third is divine reassurance. There is always comfort. We seek reassurance when we feel called to do something that seems beyond our capabilities. And the inherent unknowns of a God journey can unnerve us as much as it did Moses. God's response to Moses was, "I will be with you." That was not enough for Moses, and he argued his inadequacy over and over until he was finally convinced God would be there for him. When Mary questioned, "How can this be, for I have no husband?" the angel said to her, "The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. For with God, nothing will be impossible." Do you know the definition of impossible? It's what nobody can do until somebody does. God is truly our help in every need, and we can always find reassurance. And there's always confirmation for our call as well. For Sarah and Mary, it was pregnancy. I'd say that's a pretty strong sign. And Moses received his first sign when his staff burst into flames. And Gideon received his when he gave an offering and an angel set it on fire. God's signs leave us convinced that the call is irrefutable and really can't be changed. In my case, I had powerful dreams that led me to pretty much every church and all the major callings of my life. That's where much of my guidance comes through dreams. And so the first one, I heard a voice in a dream. I was in ministerial school, and we were all wondering where our first church would be, all so curious how that was going to unfold. And I heard a male voice say to me loudly, "You will have a church in Phoenix, and it will be a church of great light." And that was a year before. And then when I saw that Tempe, Arizona was open and realized that was in Phoenix, I remembered the dream. And I had dreams to almost all the other churches, but I did not have a dream coming here to Unity North Spiritual Center here in Coon Rapids. And the reason I think I did not was because I didn't need one, because it was so clear that I was being called. Just absolute clarity, to the point where I came and started looking for a place before we even agreed on and signed a contract. So that was the difference. I don't think I needed it. At those times when I've been on my knees asking, why me, God, why this? An old friend might call out of the blue to reassure me, or I'll hear just the right song on the radio. It's important to ask for a sign or vision to confirm our calls, and it may come in prayer and meditation as we gain new insights. It may come with a thank you from someone whom we touch in fulfilling the call, or from an inner voice that says, this is right, this is exactly what I need to be doing. It's not always the biblical proportions, it can be very simple. One sign is that the truest calls seem not only to keep coming back, but also to make their way to us through different channels, different signs, different people, different ways that we still get the same message. It won't leave us alone. That's what I've always told aspiring ministers who come and say, I'm feeling called to ministry. Through the years, I've had a number of people walk in my office and say that. And I've always told them, not only will it come to you in different ways, but it will persist. It won't leave you alone. You can leave it alone for a couple years even, and it still won't leave you alone. And that's different than just getting an idea of something interesting or a whim. And many of those people did just have an interesting thought and moved on. Others found it to be a call. And there's a very distinct difference. We may not know it at first, but it will reveal itself. We're all called to awaken and change in this continuing time of COVID and political unrest. Some of us are weathering this as we live alone. Others are in relationships. Some have children. Many can still be with their families. Some cannot be, either due to COVID or since travel has become more difficult of late. Some have suffered loss of jobs, loss of income, loss of family members. All of us have suffered the loss of a known lifestyle. Certainly, we see a big difference in church. All churches do. Unity churches nationwide are going through the same thing we are, exactly. Each of us has to determine our own lesson to be gained, our own reason for being here at this time going through this. What is Spirit asking of us? So finally, the fifth stage of receiving a call is called reflection on the call. Luke 2:29 and 2:51 reads, Mary kept all these things in her heart, and she pondered them. So it is important that we take time to ponder, to reflect on the call, and then go into the silence for guidance. A call may require frequent recommitment, and the return to silence helps us to recenter ourselves. We need to teach ourselves to sit quietly and just listen long enough to leave a decent indentation on the couch. Prayer becomes the most important means of attuning ourselves to hear the call to begin with and centering ourselves to recommit to the call. So once again, the 5 stages are Spirit's call, our objection or resistance to the call, divine reassurance, a sign or a vision, and finally, reflection on the call. And so these markers along the path continue to show themselves. And the calls that we hear are Spirit wanting to express more of itself in our lives. Lowell Fillmore, oldest son of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, co-founders of Unity, wrote a beautiful poem entitled The Answer. When for a purpose I had prayed and prayed and prayed, until my words seemed worn and bare with arduous use. And I had knocked and asked and knocked and asked again, and all my fervor and persistence brought no hope. I paused to give my weary brain a rest and ceased my anxious human cry. In that still moment, after self had tried and failed, there came a glorious vision of God's power. And lo, my prayer was answered in that hour. We ask, and God answers. But the answer comes because God is already calling us all the time, even when we do not know it. Summoned or not, the God will come. When Spirit comes calling, it is always for the greater good. And let us remember, the best possible answer we can give is yes. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Kathy. Well, this song came about as I was trying to wrap my arms around this journey that we all are on, that Kathy just described, where God is talking to us, calling, and we have the choice to answer and resist. And I don't know why this thing is popping, but we'll see if we can't get by. So I ended up coming up with a little poetic license, if you will, the concept of freedom, that another step toward God is another step toward freedom, more opportunity to be all that we are, all that we can be. And that's what this song is. Take another step toward freedom. When you open your heart to all of God's love, true freedom is there for you. Every day we are faced with tests to make us strong. And sometimes we can feel that we don't have the strength to go on. That's when we each have the choice to let the sound of God's voice purify and ignite us to rise to the highest and shine like the brightest as we take another step toward freedom. Take another step toward love. Open your heart and follow the light and embrace what you're worthy of. And then take another step toward freedom. It's your God-given right to do. When you open your heart to all of God's love, true freedom is there for you. When you open your heart to all of God's love, true freedom is there for you. Look inside and consider if you are the best you can be. Close your eyes and imagine the love and the joy and just being free. That's why we each have the choice to let the sound of God's voice Purify and ignite us to rise to the highest and shine like the brightest as we take another step toward freedom. Take another step toward love. Open your heart and follow the light and embrace what you're worthy of. And then take another step toward freedom. It's your God-given right to do. When you open your heart to all of God's love, true freedom is there for you. When you open your heart to all of God's love, true freedom is there for you. You are never alone. You are not on your own. God will always be there, just as close as the air. So take another step, take another step, take another step toward freedom. Take another step, take another step, take another step toward freedom. Take another step, take another step, take another step toward freedom. Take another step, take another step. Take another step toward freedom. Yeah, thank you.
This is the time in the service when we contemplate our offering. Take whatever you plan to donate or whatever you have in your mind or in your hand, and hold it or hold your heart. For those of you here, you can drop your donation in the basket by the entryway. Please join me in the offering blessing. Divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. And now Rich will play us an offering song.
Thanks, Noel. Everywhere I look, I see God in everything. Deep inside and all around me, God in everything. I can feel it in my beating heart, God in everything. It's in every breath of life I take, God in everything. Everywhere I look, I see God in everything. Deep inside and all around me, God in everything. It's in every stranger's face I see God in everything. Brothers, sisters, family are we, God in everything. Everywhere I look, I see God in everything. Deep inside and all around me, God in everything. Mountain, valley, lake, and stream, God in everything. All creation beautiful and free, God in everything. Everywhere I look, I see God in everything. Deep inside and all around me, God in everything. God in everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. The announcements for September 4th. Unity North Movie Night. On Friday, September 23rd at 7 p.m., there will be a film called Inside Out. It's for families. Please bring your grandchildren or someone you know that has children. And there's popcorn and other snacks. I was here this last week, and it was a very pleasant experience, very nice. The Unity North Community Gathering is next Sunday, or not next Sunday, I guess that's 2 Sundays away, September 18th, immediately following the Sunday service. Our community gathering will be held both in person and virtually. However, we are encouraging as many people to come in person as possible. This meeting will include an important update and is for the purpose of uniting in our intention and affirmation as we create a new future for our center and our youth and family ministry. If you attend the Sunday service via Zoom that day, you can stay online after the service for the community gathering. If you do not attend the service but would like to attend the community gathering, you can use the regular Sunday service link and join us right after the service. Family Promise Hosting Week will start on Sunday, September 11th through Saturday, September 17th. If you would like to help provide hospitality baskets or meals, they will be due on Sunday, September 11th. Please contact Kathleen by phone, and there's her number, or by email through the Outreach Minnesota, UnityNorthMamman.org. The Unity World Day of Prayer is this week on Thursday, September 8th at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time via Zoom. Join Reverend Kathy and the Unity North Prayer Chaplains for an hour of prayer, meditation, music, and readings. A very good event to attend. I plan to be there. And today the prayer chaplain is Susan Marie Lauer, and there's her number, 612-850-2129. And now Reverend Kathy is going to explain everything we need to know about next weekend's event.
Thanks, Noah. So next weekend we have our All You Need Is Love flash flea market and concert. So it's kind of in 3 parts. There's the flash flea market. And if you have items to bring, you can feel free to pull your car in and take a table out of your car, card table, up to a 6-foot table, and display your wares. And if you need a table from us, let us know. You can tell Wanda or me. And if you don't want to do that, but you just have a few items you want to donate, then we will have a miscellaneous table available. So your items can be brought the day of up till 2 p.m. The flea market starts at 2:30. So, but make sure anybody who donates items at all, make sure to have them all priced with labels of what suggested price you're asking for. And then this is all a donation to Unity North, just so you know. And if you do want to be a seller contributor and bring items like that, then there is a form online. You can go to the website, look at the All You Need Is Love rotor on the homepage, click on it, and it will lead you to a link that will bring the form up. You can fill it out and just send it in, and Wanda then will keep track of how many people are signed up. So if we want this to be a good flea market, we really appreciate your support in helping with that. Then there'll also be at the same time, 2:30 to 4:30, a hot dog stand with a lunch, $5 a piece. And then, or separately, there's waters and cookies available for $1. And then we have a 50-50 raffle. We sell raffle tickets, and then you split the pot with the church. The winner takes half, and the ministry receives half. And then we'll have a little cleanup time for about a half an hour, 4:30 to 5, and then come in here for our indoor concert with Amy and Adams doing Beatles songs for us. And that should be a lot of fun, and that's for Love Offering. So take advantage of this opportunity to hear their music and to just get in the mode of listening to Beatles music. Always a lot of fun. So if you have any questions, please see me. Christina's here. You can ask her questions too, or give Wanda a call. So thank you so much. And then I just want to mention one other thing. And on the 25th, which is, how many weeks is that? 3 weeks, I guess. Reverend Blair Tabor will be with us that day. He was the Unity minister in San Diego for many years. And he's a retired minister now, but there's no such thing with him as retirement. And he's all over speaking and guest speaking. And so he spoke for us virtually and did music for us last year and was very well received. He's truly one of my favorite ministers, actually. But he'll be doing a live in-person workshop after the service that day. And it's the mystical intersection of the 12 powers and the Lord's Prayer, which would be very fascinating. He's very much a mystic. And and he does his own music, so he'll be doing the music that day as well. So I just wanted to alert you. And it's really the first live workshop in person we've had since COVID. So apologies to those people who are virtual and can't come that day, but we did want to do something live here. It's been a long time, and we will do other virtual things coming up in the future as well. So just see me if there's any questions. And with that, I invite you to stand for our prayer for protection. And I just want to thank Chris today for his help, to Noel, and also thank you to Rich. Let's give them all a hand. All right, together on the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now let's join our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Have a blessed day, everyone.
Now we have an opportunity for anybody to share. Anyone online, first of all?
Well, I have a question. I missed the beginning of what you said about your guest speaker coming up in your workshop. If it's going to be held in the sanctuary, isn't it possible for us to just observe and listen, even if it's interactive?
Doing it hybrid is a more complex situation, so at this point, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else here with anything to share? How was your trip, Tracy?
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. Tracy went to the Netherlands and just got back. Had a great time. Anyone else? Chris has his microphone ready. The 25th. Yeah. But, so there's a lot cooking this Saturday. The Good for You, All You Need Is Love event, and the following Sunday, the community gathering, and that's hybrid. That's for everybody who wants to be there. And then the next week will be our guest speaker and a workshop presenter. Okay. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful week. And enjoy your Labor Day weekend, Labor Day.